I am about to share a reality shifting method that is so effective, it should probably come with a warning label. Because last month, one of my clients used this technique and she shifted her entire life so dramatically that in just 1 month, even she was in disbelief because she had one of the best months in business while dealing with an intense time of her life. It was a very intense moment for her. And so what I'm about to reveal might trigger anyone who believes that you have to work hard and wait for years for change. Because this method can shift your entire reality so fast that it feels like you are breaking the laws of physics. I'm talking about my client manifesting her best business month ever within weeks, attracting dream opportunities and completely transforming her identity so fast that people are going to say, who are you and what did you do with the old version? Before I get into that, I used to think reality was this fixed thing that we had to adapt to. I believed in working hard, sacrificing for what I wanted in life, and gradually improving our circumstances over time, linearly, one step at a time. I was that person who would set goals and then grind for months or even years, hoping to eventually achieve them. I was basically the manifestation equivalent of slow and steady wins the race. Yeah, that was me. Except the race was my entire life, and I was losing to people who apparently had access to a teleportation device. And here's what was driving me insane. I would work my ass off to change my circumstances, and even when I made progress, it felt like I was swimming upstream. Like reality was this heavy, resistant force that I had to push against to get anywhere. And it was exhausting. I felt like I was playing a video game on the hardest difficulty setting while everyone else had cheat codes and they were playing on easy mode. So they were playing on easy mode plus had cheat codes while on easy mode. Meanwhile, you would hear stories about people who seem to quantum leap into a completely different life overnight. They go from broke to abundant, from single to in love, from unknown to super successful in what seemed like fucking crazy timeframes, impossible timeframes. And I would think, yeah, right. What the heck are they not telling us? What's the real story? Did they go to a Diddy party? Did they sell their soul? Are they lying? Is this some sort of elaborate social media scam that everyone is in on? I was wrong. Because I discovered something that completely shattered my understanding of how reality works. Listen to this. Reality is not fixed. It is fluid and responds to consciousness. And there is a specific method that combines neuroscience, quantum mechanics, and energetic reprogramming to literally shift us into a parallel version of our life where our desired reality already exists. It's not about manifesting or attracting, but it's about activating and selecting a different frequency of reality. And it's called identity frequency mapping. And it works so fast, it feels illegal. But you might be curious. And before I break down exactly how this works, I want to talk to you about Kirsten, because her story is going to blow your mind and prove that this isn't some woo theory. Before I begin, if you would like similar results as Kirsten, then check out the link in the description to find out more about this rapid reality shifting method. So let's see what she has to say. She said, for over a decade, I was a classic entrepreneur. All desire, no results, despite desperately wanting financial success. I couldn't create a steady income. I tried strategy after strategy, always pushing harder, always falling short. When I finally launched my Facebook ads agency in August of this year, so just a couple of months ago, she had 3 clients and the same old pattern of forcing outcomes. Then she met me in September, and she was already a few months into daily meditation practice. So I gave her a receiving activation. She didn't think much of it, and then she added it to her routine. However, it felt so good during and after the activation, and she would catch her mind repeating what she heard from the activation. When she would catch her thoughts, she felt so much joy because it reminded her of the state that she felt while listening. There was no resistance. There was nothing she was trying to achieve, just pure being. Then October hit, and she hit one of the most difficult months for her personally. She was in somatic therapy addressing trauma, and her reality was throwing her curveballs of things that she needed to process. For weeks, this was unrelenting. Her body was releasing what it held on for so long, and the intensity was overwhelming. She actually took a 3-week break from her regular meditation practice and the activations. Sometimes, for those healing from trauma, meditation can actually stir up more than it soothes, and stepping back into a necessary part of staying grounded. And then despite all of these challenges, October became her best performing month in the business while she was going through that trauma. Okay, she acquired a few clients from a webinar. And then she kept a monthly money map, meaning she has a calendar whiteboard with a financial goal. And every time she received any amount of money, it gets added to the board. And at the top of the board is the total received and her monthly goal. October was the first time she achieved her monthly goal. She glanced at the board and realized she had surpassed the goal for the month. She was happy, but listen to this, it felt so natural. Like, of course I would hit the goal. Okay? So this felt so new to her because I'm so used to the feeling of not even coming close to the goal at the top of my board. Now it's November, and while my body was doing the hardest work of my life, like rewiring my nervous system and releasing trauma, I raised my goal and my business grew even more this month than last month. New clients appeared without me chasing them. Existing clients organically expanded their accounts. I achieved more while doing less than ever before. This is not about another strategy. It's about shifting from forcing to receiving. I manifested more during my most difficult month than I ever did during my easy ones when I was trying so hard. If I could achieve this while my somatic therapy had me processing decades of trauma, imagine what's possible when you are not fighting with yourself anymore. Wow. When she told me this, I was like, holy shit. This is exactly what I've been trying to explain to people. Because I used to be that person who thought you had to work really hard and suffer for results. I was out here grinding my ass like my life depended on it. While Kirsten just did a simple activation practice and had her best month ever. By the way, did I say that she only started her business in August? And that is like watching someone win a race by taking a helicopter while someone else was running on foot. That was me running on foot. So this is what identity frequency mapping does. It allows us to shift into a parallel reality where our desired outcome already exists without years of grinding and struggling. But most people don't understand how this works because we are still operating from the old paradigm of work hard, wait long, hope for results, sacrifice my health, everything. They're trying to create a new reality instead of activating an existing one. So, let's break down the exact method, the science behind why it works, and how you can use it to shift your reality faster than you ever thought possible. And I want to start with something that's going to mess with your head. Right now, we are locked into one specific frequency. However, there are infinite parallel versions of us, of our life, broadcasting simultaneously. Okay? Think of it like a radio. There are hundreds of stations being broadcasted right now at the same time. However, we can only hear one, the one that we are tuned into. So our current reality is just one frequency among infinite possibilities. Maybe you are stuck on a really depressing radio station that only plays sad songs about your limitation. But there is also a station right next to it playing your victory anthem on repeat. And so what identity frequency mapping reveals is the exact energetic signature of your desired reality and creates a roadmap for you to shift into it. That easy. Through targeted activations, you could consciously tune into the frequency where you're wealthy, healthy, in love, so in love with yourself, having another partner, just like changing radio stations or channel in the TV. And when I discovered this, I was skeptical as hell, but come on, parallel realities? Sounds like science fiction, right? However, when I started studying quantum physics and realized that scientists have been saying this for fucking years, in quantum mechanics, there's something called the many worlds interpretation. Marvel made a movie out of it, the multiverse, okay? Which suggests that all possible outcomes of the quantum measurement exist in separate parallel universes, okay? Every choice we make creates a branching timeline. By the way, if Marvel didn't come out with that movie, I don't think people will be able to receive this information yet. So, somewhere out there is a version of you who made a different choice and is living your dream life right now. And they are probably not even grateful for it because they don't even know how good they have it, okay? They're just in it. But here's what most people don't realize. You can actually shift into those parallel timelines by changing our frequency. We don't have to create success from scratch. We just have to activate the frequency where success already exists. You don't have to fix your existing character as well. And I remember the first time I successfully did this. I was trying to shift into the frequency of successful entrepreneur instead of struggling entrepreneur, which what I was tuned into for a very long time. I did an activation where I fully embodied what it felt like to be success, confidence, certainty, ease. And that's what identity frequency mapping does. It shows you all the different frequencies available to you and teaches us how to consciously shift between them through activations. Each version of our life has a specific energetic signature, okay, which is a unique combination of thoughts, emotions, and energy patterns. When we identify the signature of our desired reality and activate it consistently, you are literally tuning into that frequency. So the transformation for me was realizing that I wasn't trying to become successful. I was just activating the frequency of the version of me who was already successful. So the shift in perspective changed everything. Now, this is where the neuroscience gets really interesting, because our brain cannot tell the difference between a vividly imagined experience and actual reality. So when we experience something with enough emotional intensity during an activation, our brain creates the same neural pathways as if it was actually happening. But I know it's actually happening because we have been conditioned to believe that imagination is this childlike thing. But it's proven neuroscience. Our brain is basically like a really gullible friend who believes everything you tell them with enough conviction. Oh, we're successful now? Cool. Let me rewire that to match our reality. And so, identity frequency mapping uses this principle to literally rewire your brain to expect and attract your desired experiences. So when we activate the frequency of our successful self with full sensory engagement, we are programming our nervous system to become that person. I used to do visualizations where I would just think about what I wanted. But thinking is not enough. You have to activate the full experience with all of your cells and emotions. So during an activation, I don't just think about being successful. I feel the confidence in my body. My cells are recalibrating in real time, and I experience the emotions of already having achieved my goals. But here's what's crazy. After doing this consistently, my brain started to believe that success was my normal state. It wasn't something I tried to achieve, but it was something I already was. And the confirmation was when I walked into this meeting that would have made me usually nervous, okay? And it was to secure a partnership. Before walking into this meeting, I just felt calm, certain, like, of course I belong there. Of course this partnership is guaranteed. My brain had been so thoroughly programmed through activations that confidence had become my default state. Like hacking my own nervous system. I didn't have to try to be confident anymore. My brain just assumed this is who I am. And that is the power of identity frequency mapping. We are not just visualizing or hoping for change, but we are literally rewiring our neural pathways through targeted activations that our brain accepts as real experiences. And the more we activate these experiences, the stronger the neural pathways become until our new identity becomes our automatic default setting. But here's the key. There is a specific window when our brain is most receptive to this programming, okay? And most people completely miss this. Now, during deep activations, our brain waves naturally drop into theta state, which is the same frequency as being in deep meditation and hypnosis. But that's just technical shit that I'm spitting out of my mouth. Just get super relaxed, okay? When we are relaxed, this is when our analytical mind goes offline and our subconscious becomes completely receptive to new programming. My cat nearly dropped my laptop. This is the activation window. The moment when we can implant the energetic blueprint of our desired self directly to our cellular memory. Magic. However, most people never access this state because we're too busy thinking, analyzing, overthinking about shit, literally all the time. So we never have silence, peace. We are trying to manifest from our conscious mind, which is like trying to reprogram a computer while it's running a million other applications. The first time I successfully entered this activation window, it felt like I had completely dissolved into pure consciousness, meaning my identity of Kevin completely disappeared. I was just pure awareness, experiencing the frequency of my desired reality. Now, becoming no body, no one, no thing, egoless, felt scary at first because I was losing myself. But then I realized I wasn't losing myself. I was losing my limited self so I could return to my expanded self. And so identity frequency mapping teaches you to consistently access this relaxed state, allowing us to bypass the analytical mind and directly reprogram our subconscious. But here's the most important part that most people miss. Our thoughts send a signal out to the quantum field. However, our emotions during activations are what magnetizes experiences back to us. Most people think about what they want while feeling their current limitations. Okay, let me think about what they want while feeling limitations. They're like, I want to be wealthy, while feeling that they're never going to make it out living paycheck to paycheck. Incoherence. I want to be confident. That's what they're thinking. However, they feel insecure. Incoherence. Identity frequency mapping requires you to activate and embody the emotions of your desired reality before it shows up physically. Essentially, we're programming our nervous system to broadcast a completely different frequency. I had to learn to feel abundant before I had money. I had to learn to be confident before I had success. I had to learn to feel loved or love myself before I had a relationship. This felt completely backwards to my logical mind. My brain was like, this is stupid, dude. You can't feel rich when you're broke. That's called delusion. But I did it anyway. And that's when everything shifted. Emotions are the activation fuel that shifts our entire reality. When we can feel our desired reality with enough intensity during activations, we are literally reprogramming our nervous system to expect and attract those experiences. There is something called the identity bridge that I want to talk about, which is the specific process of activating the frequency of who you are becoming. Okay? Every reality has a specific version of you living in it with a unique energetic signature. And so through identity frequency mapping, you can identify the exact thoughts, emotions, and energy patterns of your desired reality. Then use targeted activations to embody that frequency. For me, this was about getting crystal clear on who successful Kevin was. Not what he had, but who he was. Did you notice that? Not what he had, but who he was. How he thought, how he felt, how he moved through the world. How did he make decisions? How did he face challenges? I wrote how, his entire identity profile, his beliefs about money, his confidence level, his relationship with time, his energy patterns. Then I started activating that frequency every single day. When you consistently activate and maintain your energetic blueprint, you literally become them. And your reality and their reality becomes yours. Okay? This is not pretending. This is identity activation at the cellular level. And let me tell you, the shift happens around day 21, okay? But even that's just the belief itself or using Newtonian laws trying to predict things. But when I realized I wasn't just activating successful Kevin anymore, I was just successful Kevin, the activation had become my default state. It wasn't just like this grand, oh my God, you're a new person now. No, I just woke up and I was like, yeah, just realizing it. Like I crossed the bridge from one identity to another and there was no going back. And my old self felt like a stranger. And my new self felt like who I had always been meant to be. But the most powerful activations happen when our heart and brain and nervous system achieve complete coherence around our new identity frequency. During these coherent states, our electromagnetic field reorganizes itself to match our desired reality. We become a powerful reality shifting transmission tower, broadcasting our new frequency so strongly that reality has no choice but to match it. Yep, that's how powerful you are. Right, so I learned to achieve this coherent state through specific breathing techniques and heart-focused practice. When I'm in coherence, manifestation is not work. It is effortless creation. Identity frequency mapping teaches you to activate and maintain this coherent state, turning you into a magnet for your desired reality. And here's the difference. There is a massive energetic difference between hoping something will happen and activating the frequency of already having it. Hope keeps us in the vibration of lack. Having activates, creates absolute certainty by allowing you to experience your desired reality so completely that your body believes it's already happened. So this activated certainty pulls our desired reality into our physical reality like a magnet. So if you've been trying to change your reality through hard work, slow steps, thinking that's the only way, I want you to know that there's a completely different method available. Most people believe they have to work hard and gradually improve their circumstances. But identity frequency mapping allows you to quantum leap directly to your desired reality by activating the frequency of parallel versions of yourself. And so, what I forgot to mention about my client Kirsten, listen to this. This shattered my belief that we have to heal or we have to be worthy to be abundant. No. My client Kirsten, she was going through something deeply personal during October, okay? She was also getting therapy alongside my identity frequency mapping or activations, and she still had the best business month for October and November. This completely shattered my belief that you don't need to be fully healed or even to feel whole or even worthy or this other bunch of bullshit that we've been led to believe that must happen before you can receive abundance. Load of shit, and it pisses me off because we've just been so brainwashed. When you successfully shift through activations, it can happen so fast that it feels like you've cheated the system. People around us will wonder why we change so quickly, but you'll know you simply activated to a different frequency of yourself that already existed. And this method feels illegal because it bypasses all the traditional rules about how long change should take, okay? But it's not illegal. It's just quantum mechanics applied to identity transformation. So, if you want to learn the complete identity frequency mapping system, including the same activation techniques that Kirsten used, check out the link in the description below. But remember, we are not trying to create a new reality. We are just activating a parallel reality where our desired outcomes already exist. So, it's time to start shifting.